Thinking about the reasons why you train is often as important as thinking about how you train, where you train, or anything else. Now, it's not my place to tell you that you're training for the wrong reason. There is no wrong reason to train. If you're exercising at all, that's great. We all have our own reasons for wanting to work out. However, what I can say is that if you're training predominantly to impress other people, especially members of the opposite sex, then chances are that not only is it not going to work, but to borrow a phrase from Jeff Cavalier, you're probably destroying your gains. Now, of course, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have aesthetic goals. Of course, wanting to look your best and sculpt your body is a really noble pursuit in many cases. All I'm saying is that A, that probably shouldn't be your only goal, and B, you need to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. You need to make sure you're doing it for you. Because if you're trying to impress other people, you should know other people are never impressed. And here's the issue, when you train to impress other people, and this is one of the reasons I implore you not to do this, you're going to focus predominantly on your mirror muscles. So your mirror muscles are things like the shoulders, the pecs, the abs to an extent, biceps, all the things that people can see. We call them the mirror muscles because they're also the things that we see when we look in the mirror. However, if you just train those things, you're going to be very much hunched over, front heavy, leg weak, and as a result, you're not going to be very balanced, you're not going to be very functional. You're compounding an issue you've already got. You're ignoring mobility because that's not going to impress the ladies, that's not going to impress your mates, and the result is that you end up actually causing more harm. And this is a problem if you want to train for longevity, for performance, etc. And I do think that training for performance and longevity, etc. is ultimately healthier. To be absolutely clear, I'm not claiming that I'm immune to all of this, far from it. When I was younger, being the strong guy at school certainly became a part of my identity, and later on at university, I eventually got obsessed with building bigger biceps and pecs and getting a stronger bench press at the expense of some of the things that mattered more to me personally, ultimately, like my mobility, my ability to run and jump and climb and perform martial arts. I let those fall by the wayside so that I could chase after those more superficial gains. And these days, I'm trying to run a YouTube channel, and being strong in a thumbnail is a great way to get clicks and likes. I'm now trying to impress the entire world. What that says about my psychology is probably best left unexamined. However, for a lot of people, this actually goes deeper. They train because they feel maybe sidelined, because they feel maybe smaller and weaker, and they want to become this alpha. They feel ignored by the opposite sex or whoever they find attractive, and they want to build muscle so they look more impressive so they can attract those people. And as such, it becomes this desperate desire to train themselves. And again, these are good things, but if it's coming from a place of insecurity, then it can actually just lead to toxicity, self-loathing. And this is really the reason I wanted to make this video, because this channel is something of a self-help channel as well, a self-improvement, self-development channel. I'm not just interested in building muscles, you guys know I'm also interested in brain function and all kinds of other stuff. And so I do consider some of these self-development channels to be, my contemporaries. And a lot of them are putting forward this idea that if you want to attract members of the opposite sex, if you want to be powerful and feel great and have everyone look up to you, then you need to build loads of muscle. But that's not the case. Building loads of muscle will not make you into an alpha male, will not make you the leader of the pack, will not stop you getting teased. It won't help you to impress members of the opposite sex. As I jokingly commented in the previous video, it's not your muscles that's the problem, it's your personality. It's a little bit harsh, and of course I'm joking, but there is also a element of truth in it because, yeah, it's not your muscle that's preventing you from being the leader of the pack. Because we know for starters that being the strongest person doesn't even make you the greatest fighter. I am stronger than Grant. I can bench press much more than him, but he would kick my ass in a fight for countless reasons. He can generate more power, he's faster, he's got better reflexes. It's not me or him who would necessarily take on the more dominant role in a group. Moreover, it's the person who's more willing to A, manipulate other people, which isn't a particularly nice trait, but it does go a long way, or potentially the person who's willing to upset other people or to punch them in the face. If you are interested in trying to impress your friends and members of the opposite sex, then you might be interested in trying to look after your appearance. But again, I think we need to look at this from another angle. We should look after our skin and our appearance, not to try and impress other people, but because it's important for the way we feel about ourselves and for our health, especially as we get older. Again, this is something where you're going to look back and wish that you'd taken it seriously, which is why I'm really proud to say that today's sponsor is Tiege Hanley, long-time sponsors of the channel who've been fantastic to work with. Tiege Hanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin by providing you with set packs and instruction cards. You get a regular selection of creams and ointments sent to you, depending on which ones you choose, as well as an instruction card that shows you exactly how and when to apply each one. It really takes the guesswork out and makes it very easy to look after your skin. I recommend starting with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer. I'm really happy with the product and I love using them, and I think I've seen some great results. But it's not just me either, they have over 7,000 5-star reviews from around the world. Teach Handley members get loads of benefits, including 20% or more off the retail price, the ability to pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Teach Handley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click the first link in the description box and you'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal, click that link and get started today. Thanks again to Teach Handley for sponsoring this video, and now on with the show. Because ultimately the deciding factor in most confrontations is psychology. So it doesn't matter how many weights you can lift, you're not instantly going to become the most dominant person, and you can't fake that kind of aggression, that kind of detachment, and you shouldn't want that anyways. These aren't great traits. And this can happen on a macrocosmic global scale, where guys want status generally. It can also happen in a microcosm, where people want status within their group. This can happen where someone isn't particularly happy, so they start powerlifting or they start martial arts, and they start to progress there and impress that small group. But ultimately, again, just trying to impress other people is a hollow pursuit that isn't going to result in the most well-rounded you. And it's not always the most muscular guy who attracts the opposite sex either. Now in this next part of the video, I take a little bit of a sidebar to talk about something that I have no experience in really, no authority certainly, and no right to talk about. I call this segment the Bioneers Love Corner, and I'm going to describe what I think is the problem with dating advice for men in particular. So there's kind of this notion online that the nice guys finish last and that the chads get all the ladies, and that you need to be a little bit assertive and dominant if you're going to attract anybody, and that anyone who says otherwise is just kidding themselves. I honestly think this couldn't be further from the truth. The problem with most nice guys isn't that they're too nice, it's the fact that they're also often shy. The people that come across as extremely confident might actually be just a little bit less sensitive, goes hand in hand with being a little bit less shy and embarrassed to approach someone out of the blue. Chances are they maybe aren't quite so in their own head. So the nice guys, the issue isn't that they're nice, it's that they're, standing at the back of the club and not approaching the girls. And when they do approach the girls, they're kind of timid about it. So imagine that instead of going up and being brash and cocky and putting a girl down to try and look like this, whatever evolutionary superior option, or hiding in the corner and sort of waving like this and being the nice guy, instead you be the confident nice guy. You go up to the group of girls or guys, you introduce yourself, you're not after just one thing, you just after a good time. You chat, you buy drinks, you have fun, and then if there is someone who catches your eye, towards the end of the night when you've already established a rapport, shown yourself to be confident, fun with their friends, you make your intentions known by buying them their own drink or just talking to them a bit more. Wouldn't that be a far more effective way? So the issue is not that you're not aggressive enough, it's not that you don't have enough muscle. The issue is just that you need to work on your confidence and maybe practice hanging out with people, and maybe don't head out on a night out just after one thing, because that's a massive turnoff for anybody. That's why I think that just training to try and attract members of the opposite sex isn't going to work. And apologies if that seems a bit off topic, but I think it's important to keep in mind, because I think the reasons that we train can get quite deep and complex. And I think there's this kind of very complicated psychology that goes on, especially with young men who are trying to find their way in the world, and they become attracted as a result to these kind of aggressive and archetypal masculine concepts. But again, I think you need to come at it from the right place. I think it's really important to approach these goals in the right way and for the right reasons. Because here's the other thing, I think for a lot of guys, there's a lot riding on their ability to attract members of the opposite sex. They actually base an awful lot of their self-worth and their identity on their ability to, pull women or guys at the bar. And if they can't do this, they feel like failures. And it goes beyond just wanting sex. Guys have got this huge thing about status, and it's so evident when watching YouTube and self-development stuff. Spending huge, inordinate amounts of time changing your whole lifestyle to try and look and project this sense of, high-value males so that they can attract members of the opposite sex. Not only, as I have said, is this not going to work because it's just transparently desperate and it's inauthentic, but at the same time, who cares? It's not an achievement in the same way that climbing a mountain is an achievement, or running an ultramarathon, or building an app, or anything else like that. And of course, 99.9999% of you guys watching this know all this, but I think the problem is that of the loudest voices on the internet are, pubescent men. I don't think that changing nappies and getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning are the things that make me happy, but I know that deep down they are. They're the things that give my life meaning, they're the things that make me feel fulfilled, and it has nothing to do with status or how successful I am, because happiness is true freedom. And training to be fitter and healthier and a better expression of yourself, that is the kind of training that's going to make you happier. At the same time, think about your goals, think about the things you want to achieve, and the kind of training that you enjoy for its own sake, whether that's running fast because you like the feeling of the wind in your hair, climbing because you enjoy the thrill of being high up, or calisthenics because you love how it feels to perform a really cool move. Do martial arts not because you want to prove how hard you are and how you can beat anyone in a fight, but because you want to work on yourself and achieve the body awareness that allows you to do cool kicks, because you want to be able to move in an artistic and powerful way, or because you enjoy the thrill of the fight for its own sake, not because you have to win. You'll perform so much better if you can detach yourself from that need to win, from that status and ego. If you're a powerlifter, do it because you enjoy struggling against a heavy weight, that feeling of being underneath something that could crush you, that feeling of blasting through your personal best through nothing other than dedication, hard work, and patience. Not because you want to beat the person next to you and get a bigger lift than them, because that's the kind of thinking that will cause you to take silly shortcuts and ultimately injure yourself. There will always be someone stronger, and if you don't accept that, you're going to hurt yourself or just become really angry and frustrated. And there isn't some point where you do this, where you lift this weight, and then your life becomes amazing, and you become the alpha, and all the women throw themselves at your feet. That just doesn't happen. To me personally, fitness should be, in a big way, about self-expression. It should be about being you, but the most you that you can be. And if you're training in a way that's designed to impress other people or that's trying to fit in with a different group, then of course this isn't going to happen. You're not going to be training in a way that is true to yourself. And the irony is that if you would try and train in a way that was unique to you, that is actually how you would impress the most people. So yeah guys, that's a bit of a rant, but I hope that you can take something from it. I think all of us are guilty at times of training for the wrong reasons, training to impress other people, training because it's what we've always done as a part of our identity, training for ego, when in fact, not only is it not impressing anybody, but it's ultimately only going to hurt you. It might hurt your gains, it might ultimately lead to you injuring yourself because you are so desperate to achieve something or to gain something or prove something. Whereas if we just take a patient approach, if we enjoy the process, and if we train for us, we'll get far better results, we'll get there faster, and we'll have more fun doing it, and we won't get hurt. What do you guys think? Why do you train? Do you train to impress other people? Do you train for yourself? If you're interested in comprehensive training that addresses everything from strength to mobility to brain function, and it isn't just about what you look like, but how you truly feel and perform, then you might enjoy my ebook and training program, Super Functional Training 2.0, The Protein Performance System. It comes with over 2 hours of instructional videos, plus an 80+ page ebook, and you can find that in the link in the description down below. Either way guys, thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.